This is Into Beats 106.5 FM. Hello, this is Amy Botez here from PEPPED Productions. How's it all going? Life is pretty busy for me at the moment. I've been busy with voiceovers and workshops and writing, and I've been developing a screenplay for the last year or so, and a buddy of mine who's a screenwriter in Hollywood has been giving me some great tips on how to refine it. And as he says, writing is all about rewriting, so I've had my hands full. So a little bit more about me, just in case you missed my last series on personal impact. I'm a professional RADA-trained actress and communication coach, and I offer training and coaching to business professionals in everything from presentation skills to personal impact in meetings, to confidence building, to team building, pretty much anything to do with communication and making the most of who you are, we can help you with. And we use physical, vocal and mental exercises to literally take a person from Clark Kent to Superman. Now, if you wondered how the average person can use acting techniques to become the best possible version of themselves, you're in luck, because for the next 8 weeks, I'll be sharing my top tips on how to act your way to success. Because after all, I believe that life is just one long improvisation. And to nick a phrase from Shakespeare, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. And if we take this on board, then you have to take on board one of the biggest rules of improvised theatre, which is to listen. Now, I'm talking about active listening, not just getting the gist of a conversation, but really noting what someone is saying and storing it in your short-term and long-term memory. And the benefits of really listening to someone when you're conversing with them is tenfold, because firstly, you make the other person feel special because you care enough to listen to what they're saying. And secondly, you can use this information to prompt your next interjection. Now, my husband always says he's awful at conversation and doesn't know what to say, and I think that's partly to do with him not listening. He panics on his own and doesn't really actively listen, and so when it comes to his time to speak, he doesn't know what to say. However, if you're imagining that you're playing a scene and that you use what the other person is saying as a prompt, you'll never go wrong. It's the same as listening out for your cue. You listen, you let your brain engage with that offer, you wait for an opportune silence and then interject using what they have said as a prompt. And thirdly, active listening will give you a whole resource when it comes to the next time you meet that person who you're talking to. For example, I just love it when I haven't seen someone for some time and I mentioned something from our last conversation together, and they look surprised and delighted, because remembering a detail from a previous conversation shows that you've thought about what you said. You've engaged with it, and it's flattering to the other person. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be the star of our own show, but we cannot do that without our co-stars. A great exercise to do to ensure that you're actively listening is to imagine that you have to relay all that has been said to a friend who isn't there. And this will force you to note the main points raised, almost like a minute taker at a meeting. And it'll also make you more curious and will lead you to asking more questions to clarify detail. And this in turn will animate you just that little bit more. Because who out there has had that situation where it's obvious that the other person isn't listening? And that's a complete turn-off, isn't it? Especially in business. Remember that it's all about how you make the other person feel. So if you don't take the time to really focus on what is being said, the chances are you're going to make the other person in the conversation feel rotten. Now, you can listen back to this segment on my website, which is www.peppeddproductions.co.uk. And if you have any comments or you want to share something, please don't hesitate to follow me on Twitter at WeArePepped. And you can use the hashtag #WeArePepped That's PEPPED. Or check us out on Facebook, where we're listed as PEPPED Productions. And this is coming from Into Beats 106.5 FM.